But think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
The View is in full-blown panic mode, and this time it's not just a minor controversy they can brush.
The sharp-witted, fearless, and unapologetic conservative dynamo, Karoline Leavitt, has just ignited a legal firestorm so explosive that ABC executives are scrambling in sheer desperation to contain what could be the most catastrophic scandal in the network's history. The View is in absolute meltdown mode, and this isn't just a minor controversy, it's a full-blown crisis of epic proportions. This version adds more intensity, urgency, and drama. Let me know if you'd like any further tweaks.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time. That was so good.
These women are completely out of touch with reality, and you're right, ABC should wait.
Rocket fire. And here's where it gets downright outrageous. Karoline Leavitt didn't even have to set foot on set to send shockwaves through ABC. That's right, no fiery showdown at the debate table, no explosive on-air confrontation. Instead, after yet another repulsive, tone-deaf tirade from Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin, Karoline didn't just strike back, she dropped a bombshell revelation so earth-shattering that it has everyone at the network in a state of sheer panic. Reports suggest that ABC is desperately begging Karoline to back off before this spirals into a full-blown disaster. Top executives are burning the midnight oil, scrambling to contain what could be the most devastating scandal in the network's history. But let's be real, the damage is already done. The backlash is mounting, insiders are whispering about an impending crisis, and now the real question isn't whether The View can recover, it's whether ABC itself can survive the fallout. This is beyond repair. But what exactly did Karoline Leavitt say that sent Whoopi Goldberg into a total meltdown? What left Joy Behar visibly trembling? And, perhaps most shockingly, what could possibly have rendered Sunny Hostin completely speechless for the first time in her life? This version cranks up the suspense, drama, and intensity. Let me know if you want any further tweak.
We will expose the fake news when they are fake. We will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump. I can also assure the American people that they are going to be hearing directly from the leader of the free world. And the press likes to hear that too. That's something that has not happened over the past.
You don't want to miss this, do you? Trust me, this is just the beginning. But before we dive headfirst into this explosive takedown, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more raw, unfiltered updates. The View thought they could go after Karoline Leavitt and walk away unscathed. Big mistake. They assumed they could mock her, diminish her achievements, and reduce her success to nothing but petty jabs. Well, they messed with the wrong woman. What they didn't expect. The full-force reckoning that's now coming their way. In a recent episode, the ladies of The View completely lost it, not just with their usual passive-aggressive digs, but with a full-scale character assassination aimed directly at Karoline. Why? Because she's a young, successful conservative woman who refuses to back down. Joy Behar kicked things off with an attack so blatantly sexist and demeaning that even some of their own audience members were visibly uncomfortable. And of course, she did it all with that signature condescending sneer. But here's the kicker, she didn't challenge Karoline's beliefs, policies, or political work. No, Joy took the low road, attempting to discredit Karoline's intelligence, experience, and hard-earned success. According to Joy's twisted logic, Karoline had only made it this far for one reason. And trust me, her reasoning was as appalling as it was predictable.
Likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million to President Trump's future library. That's a great thing for the American people.
Joy Behar didn't just take a jab at Karoline Leavitt, she took a direct shot at her very legitimacy. According to Joy, Karoline wasn't hired because of her intelligence, talent, or work ethic. Oh no. In Joy's twisted worldview, Karoline's success isn't earned, it's simply because she's a 10 in Trump's eyes. Let that sink in. A self-proclaimed feminist just reduced a highly accomplished woman to nothing more than her looks. Years of relentless hard work. Dismissed. Every professional milestone? Erased. In Joy's mind, a conservative woman couldn't possibly achieve success on her own. She must have been handed it by a man. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Whoopi Goldberg stormed in and sent things completely off the rails. I'm not one to let facts and logic get in the way of a good meltdown. But Whoopi, she went ballistic. She launched into a full-throttle, venom-laced tirade, attacking Karoline's character, credibility, and career in a way that was undeniably personal. Her words grew sharper, her tone more hostile, and her frustration boiled over for everyone to see. It was obvious, Karoline had struck a nerve. Whoopi was furious, and Joy, realizing the sheer absurdity of her own remarks, tried to backpedal. But the damage? Already done. And then, in a moment no one saw coming, Sunny Hostin, the queen of self-righteous rants, was silent. She had nothing. Not a single word. But Whoopi wasn't done yet. Oh no. She went full throttle, launching into one of her signature lectures, so dripping with hypocrisy that even her own audience struggled to keep up. She didn't just criticize Karoline. She delivered a condescending, backhanded attack laced with faux wisdom. Yeah, young lady, I would like this, Whoopi sneered. She said yesterday that there would be no wokeness here, and that really irritated me. So I would like her to do some more research. Because, you know, you might not have that job without that wokeness. Let me explain, because women weren't allowed at that table. Women weren't even invited to dinners in this country. The irony? Unbelievable. These are the same women who constantly preach about uplifting women in the workplace, about empowering young professionals. And yet, here they were, openly tearing down and discrediting a successful young woman simply because she dared to think differently. But if they thought Karoline was going to let that slide, they had another thing coming. Whoopi, now fully unhinged, kept going. She wasn't just talking. She was lecturing, commanding the room with wild hand gestures, her voice escalating into that classic full-blown fury we've all seen before. If you've ever watched her in one of these enraged monologues, you already know exactly how it goes. The question is, why were they so rattled by Karoline Leavitt? Because deep down, they knew the truth. They couldn't out-debate her. So they did what they do best, attack, belittle, and try to destroy. But this time, they picked the wrong target. Asterisk, asterisk.
Well, you know, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate.
And then came the grand lecture. Whoopi, in full-blown superiority mode, declared, "Now, to hear you talk about it, to hear anybody talk about wokeness, that wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women couldn't get into the schools they wanted. This is all women. See, this is not just black, not just Asian, this is all women. Women weren't invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure it became a person's world." She was on a roll now, fully convinced she was educating Karoline on history that she clearly already knew. The irony? Unreal. Commentators called it out instantly. Whoopi was literally mansplaining the job of a press secretary to Karoline Leavitt. A woman lecturing another woman about how she supposedly wouldn't have a job without a movement that had nothing to do with her qualifications or success. The hypocrisy was dripping from every word. And then, of course, Whoopi just had to make it about race, because in her mind, that somehow justified dismissing Karoline's entire career. As if her achievements weren't the result of her own intelligence, hard work, and determination, but merely a byproduct of wokeness. But here's where things took a turn. Karoline? She wasn't having it. She didn't brush it off. She didn't ignore the noise. She obliterated it. This wasn't just a clapback, it was a full-scale annihilation. And when she fired back, she didn't hold anything back. With razor-sharp delivery, undeniable facts, and unshakable confidence, Karoline dropped the hammer. The same rhetoric that led to 2 assassination attempts on President Trump, yes, that same rhetoric, is still being pushed by his opponents. The idea that Trump is a threat to democracy is a blatant lie. And if you're a deranged lunatic, if you're mentally unstable, you will believe that lie. And yes, you will act on it. And we've already seen that play out. Twice. Boom. Silence. The room shifted. The weight of her words hit like a tidal wave, and for the first time, the View panel was out of talking points. Karoline didn't just defend herself. She exposed them. And the meltdown that followed, oh, it was glorious.
You would think, ABC, having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit, would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I gotta ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that.
Asterisk. Unstoppable. Unshakable. Unalterable. Karoline Leavitt wasn't just pushing back against the false narrative, she was tearing it apart at the foundation. And just when they thought she was done, she took it a step further. Every single person who attended President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden last week was a cut to commercial. Tim Walz. Kamala Harris. The network pulled the plug. They didn't even let her finish. Because they knew. They knew she was about to expose something they did not want their audience to hear. But at that point, it was already too late. The damage had been done. The View had played its hand, and now, they were scrambling. They had no idea what was coming next. Because Karoline wasn't just calling out the hosts, she was dismantling an entire system. And then, she dropped the hammer every single day. The Democratic Party spews hateful, dangerous, and divisive rhetoric. And yet, the media has the audacity to accuse Donald Trump of being the one tearing this country apart. He's not. The press is. Boom, the moment hit like a seismic shockwave, raw, undeniable, and so brutally honest that it sent ripples through the very network that tried to silence her. And just like that, the truth they tried to suppress was the one thing they couldn't contain. Asterisk.
So I hope that the media will focus on the issues that matter to the American people, the issues that led them to vote in a resounding way for President Trump on November the 5th. That's what President Trump is focused on more so than ever. We have an array of executive action that will be rolled out on day one to change the lives of the American people immediately.
The Democratic Party has mastered the art of deception, spreading fear, twisting facts, and painting millions of Americans as threats simply because they refuse to fall in line. But here's the truth, Americans aren't buying it anymore. They see through the lies. And that's exactly why President Trump is more popular today than he has been since 2016. The people no longer trust the media. They are fed up with the double standards. Tired of being manipulated. Done with the hypocrisy. The audience was silent. The hosts? Completely blindsided. They weren't prepared for this kind of raw, unapologetic pushback, especially not from a young, conservative woman who refuses to be silenced. And then it happened. The takedown heard around the world. Karoline didn't just respond. She obliterated them. In what has now been dubbed the Scorched Earth takedown, she exposed The View for what it truly is, a group of bitter, out-of-touch elitists who claim to empower women, but only if those women share their ideology. This time, Karoline held nothing back. She torched Joy Behar. This woman is what modern feminism looks like, preaching about empowering women while tearing down every single woman who doesn't fit their narrative? Pathetic. Then, she set her sights on Whoopi. According to Whoopi, I wouldn't have a job if it weren't for wokeness. That's rich coming from a panel made up of nothing but DEI hires. And Sunny Hostin? She didn't escape the fire either. Sunny Hostin talking about privilege? Please. Somebody get me a vacation because I can't take this level of delusion. Boom. The audience was shocked. She dropped the hammer. The View doesn't celebrate strong women. They prop up weak, submissive ones. Women who nod along, follow orders, and never challenge the narrative. But me? I don't play by their rules. And just like that, her response exploded. The hashtags #CancelTheView and #Karoline1 dominated Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Social media erupted. ABC had completely lost control. They thought they could smear her, mock her, move on like nothing happened. Instead, they handed her the biggest PR victory of her career. Now, ABC is officially in crisis mode. Leaked reports confirm that executives are panicking. Producers are furious that their attempted hit piece backfired spectacularly. What should have been a routine attack on a conservative woman has spiraled into one of the biggest PR disasters in The View's history. Now, whispers are circulating in the highest offices at ABC. Some executives are openly questioning whether Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg have become liabilities rather than assets. Because let's be honest, how many more scandals can ABC withstand before The View completely implodes? The fallout is already happening. Sponsors are pulling back. Companies that once proudly supported the show are now rethinking their partnerships. Nobody wants to be associated with a brand that has become this toxic. Behind the scenes, ABC is scrambling, desperately trying to contain the damage. Reports indicate that executives are now pleading with Karoline to drop her legal action before this crisis spirals out of control. But here's the problem. It's too late. Even The View's most loyal viewers are abandoning them. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. The View claims to empower women, but the moment a woman doesn't align with their agenda, they try to destroy her. Karoline just exposed them as frauds. The backlash is relentless. People who once defended The View are now calling them out for their blatant hypocrisy, their double standards, and their utter lack of integrity. And just when you think things can't get worse for them, they do. Because now, the conversation has shifted. It's no longer just about Karoline's takedown. It's about whether The View can even survive this. It's undeniable now. For years, The View has thrived on outrage, weaponizing fake scandals to silence their opponents and push their agenda. But this time, they've gone too far. The backlash is uncontrollable. The hypocrisy is undeniable. And ABC is staring down a decision they never thought they'd have to make. Do they cut ties? Do they clean house? Or do they double down, risking total destruction? Because let's be real, controversy used to fuel The View. It kept their ratings alive. But now, the backlash is outweighing the benefits. Advertisers are backing away. Even diehard fans are questioning whether the show has finally reached the end of the road. ABC knows this. Their executives know this. And inside headquarters, the panic is palpable. Meetings are turning into battlefields. Tensions are boiling over. Major sponsors are quietly backing out, some already gone. Insiders are leaking reports that a full-on panel reboot is being discussed behind closed doors. Because the reality is setting in, ABC has no choice but to make a critical decision. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. Has The View finally gone too far? Was Karoline's lawsuit the wake-up call the media has been desperately avoiding? And more importantly, do you think ABC will actually pull the plug on The View? Or will they go down with the sinking ship, praying the storm passes? Because no matter how they try to spin it, one thing is clear: The View's days are numbered. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another uncensored, no-nonsense update. This is only the beginning. Stay tuned. ****